Hello and welcome. So today we're going to jump in and we're going to solve different types of addition word problems. That's something we were getting into earlier in the year, and now we're going to be back and we're going to be looking at word problems again. So as we go through, make sure that you grab any materials you need before we jump into this. Ultimately, again, we're getting back into our place value chart. You're going to start with the number 10. What happens if you take away you can't take 20 away from 10, silly me. 5 away from 10. Yep, with negative numbers, we're not there yet. Okay, so if you start with the number 10, what happens if you take 5 away from 10? Pause and work with your learning coach. The next number you're going to be looking at is 15. What happens if you add 10 more to 15? So what happens if you add 10 to 15? What happens? Pause and work with your learning coach. You're going to move on to your addition problem with your hundreds, tens, and ones chart. You're going to add the two numbers together. You can add your tens and ones on the bottom, or you can do all of this on your whiteboard. Pause and work it out with your learning coach. We are going to start adding in subtraction we're using the tens and ones. So what I want you to do is you need to start with the ones, and this will be an extra skills that we're going to be going deeper into when I use my whiteboard so that we can dig deeper into this concept. So ultimately what you're going to do is you're going to come in here and you're going to subtract. So you start with the ones and then you'll go with the tens. So pause and work it out with your learning coach. The next problem for spiral review, again, we're looking at trying to start eliminating some of the answers that makes no sense. So you're going to go in here, you're going to solve this problem, and then you're going to figure out with your learning coach which is the right answer. So pause and work it out with your learning coach. Okay, our next problem, again, it's very similar to the one before, is again, you're going to start trying to eliminate which one does not make any sense. For instance, Thomas has 15 crayons. Joe has 6 crayons. If you look down here in the problems that are the equations that are available, does 15 minus 10, did we talk about the number 10 at all? No, we did not. So we'd probably cross off the letter C because that doesn't make any sense. So go through this with your learning coach, and I'll be right here waiting. Again, you have your tens blocks. You can use these, or you can use your tens and ones chart. Pause and work it out with your learning coach. If you want to go deeper into solving different equations with the direct instruction, pause and work out with your learning coach. Here again, just pause and work with your learning coach. Again, here's an example of what it's going to look like. How many stories does Daisy write? They're going to give you an example so you can see by plugging the numbers in as we're writing. So for instance, as you're comprehending, Tim writes 9 stories. How many stories? 9. So 9 is going to be your first number down here. Tim writes 3 fewer stories than Daisy. Okay, so we've got to figure out he's writing 10 fewer stories than Daisy. How many stories did Daisy write? Well, if Tim writes 3 stories. Okay, 3. So Tim's writing 3 fewer stories than Daisy. So we write 3 in here. Daisy writes 3 more stories than Tim. So then we have our equation down here. They're going to try to trick you. So just pause and spend a little bit more time on this problem if you need to with your learning coach. So again, they're going to try to trick you, but I think you're smarter than this. I know you are. So we're going to take it piece by piece. Sherry reads 6 comic books. How many comic books? So that is going to be our first number in our equation down below. Daly reads more comic books than Sherry. How many comic books did Daly read? Daly reads blank more comic books than Sherry. So it does not tell us, but she reads more than Sherry. So Sherry's going to read 6 comic books. Daly's going to read how many more than Sherry? So you're going to put your number in this little box above. So you have to count on. So Daly could read maybe 3 more or 4 more. So you're putting 6 in the first box, and then you have to decide, is she adding? How many does Daly read? So pause and work it out through Learning Coach. Tracy buys 10 buttons on Monday. She buys more buttons on Tuesday. Now she has 19 buttons. How many buttons did Tracy buy on Tuesday? Okay, so we have to figure out how much she bought on Tuesday. So 10 plus blank is going to equal 19 because we know she bought 19 buttons total. How many more? We have start with 10. How many more would it take to get to 19? Pause and work it out through Learning Coach. Here's our guided instruction today. So 14 cans are on the table. 14 cans. 5 cans are big and the rest are small. How many small cans are on the table? How would we figure that out? 14 plus 5 or 14 minus 5? Pause and work it out with your Learning Coach. Here's another doozy. Okay, ready? Jen has 9 coins. Jen has 6 fewer coins than Owen. How many coins does Owen have? So are we going to add or are we going to subtract? So go through each one of those sentences and comprehend and really talk it out with your Learning Coach what you think is going to happen. Pause and work it out with your Learning Coach. You can either stop here after you've done this, or you can go in and do the flex your brain. Again, you're working on doubles, nearly doubles, and make 10. Okay, so pause and work out with your Learning Coach. Last but not least, you have your last page. Please pause, work out with your Learning Coach, and I'll see you tomorrow.